The Beef and Barnzy Show, brought to you by Bowlersmart.com, trusted by bowlers around the world since 2004. By Lightning Strikes Bowl, home of Bowlers Mart Pro Shop. By Platinum Ford, drive the difference. By Fire Lake Bowling Center, 24 state-of-the-art lanes. By True Grit Coatings, drive on our passion. By Road to Grip, king of them all. By 900 Global, striking worldwide.
Welcome back to the Beef and Barnzy Show, as we have our last episode before we hit the road once again for the Players' Championship. And as usual, I am Barnzy, joined by the unimitable Stuart Williams. How are you?
Scared.
And
look at your new look.
Oh, Jesus.
My man looks like he's had a facelift. Love it. Full head looks like it's pinned back more.
That's just a haircut is all that is. So.
Oh, shit. So how's bowling going in contacts? I couldn't bowl in contacts to save my life.
The first go at it was not great. I don't believe that will be a thing as of now. We'll have to see as my eyes get more used to them. If that if that becomes a thing or not. But yeah, I was literally bowling like at the little brown dot and kind of a little left of it, a little right of it kind of thing. For a little.
So here is our ball winner from Tuesday, reminding me that he chose a reality check. So we will try and get.
Oh, somebody asked him what he got. To be fair, yeah. So Adam, our guy.
Nico says, well, thanks, Nico. He says, good morning. I'm glad the hamster is back spinning in his wheel so Beef could get his internet to join. Yeah. Got the best internet on the show. I just didn't have any the other day. Get out of here. All of you, go away. We can have a speed test check off. I'll win. Solve. All right. Let's invite Ogle in.
Yes, we do have our most recent Shark champion, winning his first singles title. So he's up to 1.5 titles now, and he's taken time away from what used to be his actual job. I think he's trying to transition out of that now. But welcome to the show. As
What's up, guys?
Himself, the 2023 Shark champion, Matt Ogle.
I'm here, guys. Yeah, I'm trying to get out of that lawn care deal, hopefully. We'll see how it goes.
So we have like a little rule on the show that when someone pays for a question, we have to answer it. That's kind of how it goes, right?
Okay.
So like you'll see him flash up occasionally. So that's just kind of the way it's been, like whatever.
Yeah.
So sure. Ryan Martin, who's a regular on the show, says, congrats, Matt, on the title. Now, who chucked that ball on top of the truck?
I tell you what I'll do is I'll match that $10 and not answer it. Sorry, Ryan, I can't do
it. Jason says he can afford extra help so he can just supervise.
That's funny because I'm going to actually hire somebody, so I don't have to work as hard this year. Thanks to the PBA tour.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Hey Robert, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, show's great. I love watching it when I'm cutting grass.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
it passes the time by a little faster.
Yeah, listen to us talk bullshit. Yeah,
pretty much.
So, this season, wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, let's talk us through a little bit. What do you think has changed?
I really don't know. Obviously the first few years on tour, you're learning a lot. And I feel like I have to kind of fit in or get acquainted to the surroundings for me to succeed in certain things. And I think I've done that pretty well over the last few years, especially I think it kicked it off. This season got kicked off with the PBA League last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing so well there. It gave me some confidence going into the season. And then the season turned out pretty well. So a lot of that has to do with, the learning curve over the years, and then, getting that spotlight at the league, and then, rolling it over to this year.
Yeah, I definitely think that you look like a guy who's confident. Like, you've always been able to strike, but I
Sure.
think that you had that. I think the real run started at the TOC.
Yeah.
You got that. I think there was quite a few of us who were a little more relaxed in that one, knowing that, let's be honest, 17 people were making the TV show.
Absolutely.
But it kind of loosened everybody up a little bit. And like I say, you just bowled fantastic, especially that last block where the scores were all over the place, really.
Yeah.
And you really dialed in that last block and got up into that, the real show, for want of a better description.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you think that really did give you the confidence?
Yeah, for sure. The more shows you make, obviously, the more confident you're going to be. To be able to compete with all the guys out there, you guys included, to be one of the top 10, for sure gives me more confidence going into the next, few tournaments and, whatever holds for the next season. Whether I do the whole tour again or not, I don't know. We'll see. Probably going to, just because this year went so well, but for sure, the TLC helped a lot.
Yeah. We have a question here. Joe says, do either of you, I'm assuming he means the three of us, feel ball manufacturers should do a better job explaining ball reaction characteristics than is currently being done? And Matt, did Tom Clark forward the picture of you and Dad? Question mark.
No. Well, to answer the back half of that, no. I had like 7 people send me the picture of my father and I, but no.
Well, that's cool.
Time. Yeah.
It's a great moment.
I think that's
Absolutely.
an interesting question, Joe. I think that it's all about marketing, and I think that it's different strokes for different folks. And I think, from our point of view, we are part of Storm's marketing arm, and in Matt's eyes, part of DVA's marketing. And it's our job to cater to those customers who want to explore more information. So if you're really into technical, then you're going to come and talk to Chris. Like, look at Chris's videos and try and understand what they're doing to get it. I think that the ball manufacturers are trying to cater to not the lowest common denominator, but the majority. And that's why they're trying to keep it a little more simple. That would be my view upon it. What do you think, Matt?
You say that, but we just came out with the Troublemaker that has 5 different videos on how to drill it for a two-hander. So,
yeah,
I see your point, though. Yeah, I agree. I always wondered why, this was early on, why balls weren't made for, tour guys. Well, we obviously don't make up probably 90% of the industry. So why do we need a special ball? Yeah, right. So I agree.
And we pay the least for balls.
100%.
So
I also feel like that's one of the biggest fallacies in the sport, that they don't make balls for pros. Like, I just feel like it's lazy from a ball designer when they fuck one up, in my mind.
I used to hear that back from a certain gentleman who doesn't any longer make balls anymore, in a factory that no longer exists. But that they didn't make balls for us. And my question back was always, so if the guys that throw it the most different ways and are in generally the most consistent and accurate can't make it work, what are the chances of Joe Bob that bowls in league and throws it one way 50% of the time can make it work? And
you got
crickets. That was when I failed the black ball test shortly after that, I
think. Hey, Adam, I'll turn this into a question. He says, hey, Matt Ogle, I will be bowling the PTQ this Saturday. Do you have any advice for Adam? Adam is one of our biggest supporters. He's always up in the league in Maine. What would be your advice going into a PBA tournament, one of your first events?
Yeah. Hey, Adam. Good luck, first of all. Second, make all of your spares. That's the main goal, especially in the PTQs. I mean, if you make all your spares, I think you're going to make the cut. you're going to need a few strikes in there as well. But missing spares is definitely not going to get you there. Being patient, you're going to have the 190, 180 games, but you're also going to have the 240, 250 games. That's one thing I couldn't get a grasp on is, be patient. You're going to have the bad game. Just, you're going to make up for it in the next few pairs. So just be patient. Don't ever give up.
There we go. So there you go, Adam. Alan Riley, who's one of, I'm going to say he's one of Chris's friends. I don't want to claim him. Says, Matt, what tips and tricks can you give to Stu and Barnes to help them win their next title? Question mark.
Oh, that's a loaded question, isn't it?
Take your thumb out the ball. Like
that's where I was going to start. Use your other hand.
Take our thumb out of somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, both places. Yeah.
Robert has I think it's more of a philosophical thought. Congrats, Matt. What made it different to win a singles event versus a doubles event, mentality-wise?
It's definitely different. You've got another guy to rely on. If you have a bad game, more than likely he's not going to have the same bad game. You're both not always going to match up on the same pair, but when you do, you need to take advantage of it. Singles, I think, you're singled out, so to speak. You're by yourself. You got to do it all, do all the work, and it makes the win a little bit more special, I think, because you had to do all that work yourself. And it also, I'm not taking credit away from the doubles, but just being able to win a singles title was a chip off my shoulder finally. Locally, I've had people in league, when you're going to win, it's coming. And I'm thinking, I'm almost 40 years old, no offense, Chris, but I'm not going to be bowling out here for the next 10 years. But so it's always weighed on my mind that I may not be able to get that singles title. And then to do it at the World Series, which is usually my worst event, is pretty special too.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the way I always look at it, and this isn't really, it's not one is better than the other. It's just when you're a kid and you're bowling, you never dream of winning a doubles title,
right?
Like,
and I don't remember watching the doubles events as a child.
No.
So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just it's not like it's not that that's not important. It's just different. Brady says, congrats, Mike. Great win. Any advice for a two-hander playing Scorpion at Shawnee for tomorrow's regional?
Just be prepared to throw it over the gutter.
I think.
Well, they are going to be bowling on a Kegel version.
Oh, okay. So they probably won't.
And it is Shawnee.
The rev rate.
Shawnee,
yeah,
the surface is about, I don't know, 20 years newer than Milwaukee.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I do believe it'll be about 30% more volume.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, from what we saw, Brady, I think that you should try and see if that slot is available to the right. It's kind of built in around 12-ish, that sort of area. In Milwaukee, the problem was if you miss left at that spot, she hooked a bunch. And if you miss right at that spot, you got zero.
Not a bunch.
I saw a lot of gutters that week.
I was about to say, there was almost more gutters on Scorpion where you were trying to have your break pointer about 6 than there was on Cheetah where you were trying to have your break point at 2.
6, 8. I don't know.
I think there was more gutters for Scorpion and Cheetah than there was strikes for all 4 shows combined.
I mean, the thing was, right, if you could count 3 counts, a guy flushing the 6 pin as like gutter balls for Scorpion, there was like dozens and dozens. It was unbelievable. I was fortunate because I was throwing it so slow that I couldn't get 3, because I threw a couple and I was like, oh shit. And it got to the point and it got back and hit the pocket. And I remember one time BJ Moore was walking past and he just comes up to me and goes, why did your ball just hit the head pin? He goes, mine would have pounded into the gutter from that angle. And I go, because it's going about half the speed.
About 13.
Yeah. You're not being very nice to it there, my man.
Right. Yeah.
Alan,
it got kind of comical watching all the gutters throughout those 2 days for Scorpion. And cheetah, really, too. I mean, there's some on cheetah.
I mean, it was just funnier when it happened on Scorpion because people were bowling fifth arrow and they'd throw it and they'd just be like, she gone.
Yep.
Because if you get it a little, and it wasn't a lot, if you got it a little bit open, it just hit that spot and accelerated. And it was unreal, like watching it.
Brady, I'll be there today too. So, watching. So
I was about to say, go watch Ryan.
Yeah, early.
Although Brady has a regional title.
True.
He won just recently in Houston. So
just get comfortable, Brady. That's all I can tell you.
Hey Matt, what layouts and layout system have you been using? I feel like you're a rack guy.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't do numbers. I don't do angles. I just say, Mike, here, take care of this.
I was about to say we call that rat right about there.
Yeah, sort of. I'm sort of that way. I usually just use. I'm usually 4 3/4 from Axis, and I don't do anything too crazy. I usually have 2, 3, 4 of the same drillings. I don't get too crazy with drillings.
Just sort of change, like have ones that are a little older, or a little newer, or ones that have shined up.
Surface. Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. And on the Brunswick side, you've got like 17,000 balls to choose from. So
yes, I mean I can drill one of each the same way and be fine, probably.
Yeah. I mean, we're joking, but I didn't realize quite how much I knew about Brunswick balls until I was having a chat. I can't remember who it was, and I literally feel like I could have named more than one of the guys on your staff just because I'm with Dom, so I've seen them all. I know what everyone does because Dom drilled every ball
4 times,
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, when there's 2 of you driving around in an F-150, only 2 of you, and you look at each other and go, we might need to get rid of a couple to be able to get to the next stop. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's bad. That's not good. Well, majority of those are his, probably. I'm sure. Probably not.
Oh no. We're equally
bad. Equal offenders. Yeah. Yeah. Cards or cats?
You guys know I'm not a big sports guy. I mean, I barely know who Tiger Woods is. So, if I had to pick one, let's say I don't know, cats.
Well, you see, and they say you don't have anything in common with Walter.
That's where we're at now. That's the shoe comment from Jackson, wasn't it? I know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I don't keep up with sports.
Here you go. Adam's already pinning you for information for when he makes it through the PTQ. He says, how are you going to attack Carter and Weber?
My clap. Carolier, I mean, we haven't bowled there in a long time, and so surface will have a big part of it. I mean, I do think in general the 1 through 48 side and the lower bay are going to play. They always played fairly different before, so that'll be one of the first things to figure out. But it's been a very track dominant center. The gutter doesn't hook a ton in this place, and so 4, 5, 6 is going to be the actual gutter. Whether urethane's in play or not, who knows? We have a couple different variables in play this week, so. As usual, trying to play a little further right on that shorter pattern and what you can kind of get up the lane with. And then, on the Carter pattern, it's going to be a little longer. You can hopefully figure out a way to use the track.
The shorter one.
You what?
Carter is the short one.
Oh, sorry. Carter's the short one. Weber's the older.
He's super prepared, Adam. So
my question on that, you talked about what you're going to do. Maybe do you guys, both of you, do you have a plan of attack before you go to a tournament? Like say Jackson, we both did. Do you already know where you might play because we've been there so much, or do you have a predetermined idea what you're going to do? Because I usually don't. I just go in, I get my practice, and I feel like I'm going to make a game plan from there.
A bit of both. So like. Depending on depending on like so for example, we were going to Milwaukee's a better example. We were going to Milwaukee, right? And we'd bowled the previous year on the three same patterns. So I'd kind of had an idea of what had worked and where I'd struggled and why I'd struggled. So I kind of went in with a game plan of like trying to use that information already to get to the next solution. So it wasn't necessarily I determined how I was going to bowl the lanes.
Sure.
But I had a pretty good idea of what wasn't going to work based on being there the previous year. So like for me in Milwaukee, I knew that like the really strong balls weren't really going to be an option for me because trying to get them through the front part of the lane, they just burn up so much that it kind of causes me issues. So I'd already sort of like, I wasn't not going to throw any of them, but I'd already sort of migrated in my mind to the weaker balls. So that is kind of where I'd lean to a little bit. I mean, I think you're always going to try urethane regardless because you got to get an idea of whether that's going to be in play or not. Sure. But just in general, like I tend to feel like looking at lane surfaces leads me to having solutions in my mind already. Because I just think in general, we don't put a huge amount of oil on the lane. So like I knew before we got there that in Shawnee, I was going to be able to use stronger balls than when we bowl in Milwaukee, just because of the lane surface. It almost wouldn't have mattered which lane patterns they'd have used. So that's kind of where I lean.
Yeah, my theory is a little of both. I have my core six or seven or so that go in every single time. And then I'll probably bring in another 6 based off of what I think we were going to expect. And, the fill-in pieces, so to speak. And then between the two of them, some section of your core is going to work. And then the balls around it,
I was just curious because I usually try not to get, even for like when we practice for the World Series, all 4 patterns, I try not to get a game plan for day 4, so to speak. Just because I feel like it's going to be different. I mean, obviously the characteristics of the bowling center you can keep the same, but as far as what balls you're going to use, it's pointless, I think.
I mean, like to me, it's one of those things where it really depends on like how strong your game plan is. Like, so for you, your game plan might be a much stronger, like you have to have more evidence before you set a game plan. Whereas for me, mine is like a broad draft of what I feel like is going to happen. So I'm going to be changing it pretty quickly anyway. So maybe we're saying the same thing. We just,
I think so. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody's going, hey, on Tuesday last week when we last played on Shark, I stood on 23 and used the reality. Now I can't. This is bullshit. I don't think, I mean, a lefty might be doing that. But
the reason I ask is because a friend of mine coaches a college team, and he said that they practice on the pattern before they go bowl, and they already have a predetermined. And Chris, you might have seen some of this. Yeah. And they already know where they're going to play, and then when they get there, they never change, they never move, so they never get any better. So that's the reason why I asked.
Yeah, you have a different lane machine, a different oil, and a different surface. So you really, other than left to right, kind of what the pattern looks like, it's somewhat helpful.
About it. Yeah.
But I feel like bowling on the patterns does help as long as you know what to look for. So, like, for example, me and Nathan, we practiced at home. Now, we didn't bother practicing on cheetah because cheetah is so obvious what you're going to do. Sure. Like, you're going to use something to control it. And if you can throw it at the gutter and it's coming off it, you're going to do that. And if you can't, you're going to use urethane and bring it a little closer to the head pin. Like, there's no...
Right.
But, like, for Scorpion and Shark, I already knew that there was 2 zones to play because I'd bowled on that pattern at home. Now, once I got there, those zones might be a little further left or a little further right, or, but at least you had an idea of where, that buildup of the oil was. So I feel like it helped both me and Nathan because I think we bowled pretty well. Nathan, especially, he bowled amazing. So I just think it's good to be aware. It's just how much you use that information to like cause you issues. Like like you're talking about that college team where they,
Yeah.
this is where I bowl. Now, you know as well as I do, if you're bowling, like we bowl in Milwaukee, we could put 5 patterns down and bowl in the same spot with the same ball.
We kind of just did that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So,
the surface is so dominant that, I think practice on the patterns, you learn a little bit of the left to right, like Stu's talking about. You kind of get a feel for what that is. The center and lane machine, that will kind of dictate that front to back part and how much ball, how little ball that you get to throw to it.
I probably should have looked at this question as well, because this is all leading into the same thing. So, Joe, it says, when encountering a new center pattern, how do you determine which surface layout, release, and ball you'd like to use? Do you want to take this one to start with, Chris? Because this is kind of your.
Yeah, I mean, first knowing the surfaces, the Brunswick Pro Anvil lane, the original Pro Anvil skid, that's the hardest one. I would say the second generation with the textured approaches. So one of the ways to tell is if the approaches don't stink. It's probably the second generation. Then you have HPLs, which are old. The 3-board kind of stripes and no rangefinders down there. And then SPL is probably the most hooking version. So that's the first thing you're looking at. That'll tell you a little bit of how much friction's on the lane. And then I always kind of throw at least one shot early on with a pretty early rolling ball right at the gutter and find out if the gutter hooks or not. And from that point, it starts to determine and start giving a picture left to right of what the lane looks like. So once my ball hooks, I know it can't go in the gutter.
Game on.
Yeah, you're automatically a little more comfortable. If it goes in the gutter from there, then you know, hey, I got to move my break point in. I got to move it, closer. Most places hook in the track. So, at that point, your break point becomes 8, 9, 10 for those mortals, 6, 7, 8 for higher rev rates. So,
couple of real interesting things you can try. Couple of things. Go and have a look at the league board. See which end they bowl. Usually, most bowling centers bowl at the better end of the bowling center. So that's always something to look for. Have a look at what the high average is in the league. That's always an indication of whether the carry's good or not. And see where the front desk is, because generally the lanes that are right in front of the front desk are the ones that get used the most, because front desk personnel in general want the first customers in to be close so they don't have to, service them back and forth a lot. It's just the way it is. So that's a couple of things that you can look out for. To determine the surface, like I think as Chris is saying, it's just how much I always look at the pins. So if your ball is leaving a lot of flat 10s, you almost certainly got too much surface because it's burning up in the front. That's where the 6-pin goes in the gutter mat and the 10-pin stands. I know that doesn't happen a lot for you.
That happened a lot on the show. Like 6 times.
And how much was that? That's a good question. How much was that 10-pin moving on you that last?
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much. It was moving, but I just rushed it, so I stopped.
Yeah,
that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Honestly, every single person who was watching, who isn't a multi-time titleist, was with you at that point. They were like they didn't care. Like there's a bunch of people who you transform their interest level in that. Like they didn't care if you missed or not. Right. And then when you stopped, they were just like, "Oh, don't let him miss. Don't let him miss. don't miss.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
not so much that it moves left and right. It looks like it gets a little further away.
Yeah.
In that spot.
It was getting smaller for sure.
She's a little far down there.
Yeah, you talking about your US Open 4-pin's always fun. You look like it was like a mile away.
Oh my God, I thought that thing was 80 feet away.
That's what it feels like.
I had about 800 losses in a row on TV, and then now you have to, make a 4-pin to win your first major, and that, man, you want to talk about a busy mind getting in the way?
It's like a 500-yard par 3.
Get out of your way. Get out of your way. Go.
Yeah, that par 3, short par 3 turns into 500-yard par 3. It seems like.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can explain it.
Yeah. 125 yards. You feel like you need an 8-iron, a 7-iron to get there.
Yeah.
Are there any old balls that you've loved that you wish you could get a new one of?
I'm not a big ball guy. I don't get attached to them. I mean, whatever
Says
comes
the
out,
man
what I'm going
with
to throw.
9 troublemakers.
Well, that's because I had the TV show to do, or I had the ball video to make.
Congrats.
That's my. We gotta know. Was it actually you that threw the ball? No, it's not. It's not me. I promise. And I heard it wasn't on the trailer, so I heard it was on.
For those of you listening, congrats, Matt, on your win. Now we got to know: was it actually you that threw the ball on top of the PBA trailer?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. And I didn't even see the guy do it. I just was told. And
you brought it up.
And I was verified by another person, but I heard it was on the roof of the bowling center, not the trailer of the.
Oh, no. I think that might be a different incident. No, someone threw one on top of the PBA trailers.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I know one went in the air pretty high.
So this narrow it down. Was it a Titleist?
No. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I heard it was Chris, and I was so disumpointed when it wasn't.
It wasn't.
No. I destroy.
He'd have to
I'm
have
not
Ryan
afraid
throw it for him.
to take, umbrage with my own stuff. I try and leave other people's. But plus, I know how old that trailer is, and I would have feared for its life.
Somebody be standing in the wrong spot.
I would have thought that if somebody threw it up on the roof, that there was a 50-50 chance that it had gone through the top of it, and then it dropped right on Don and killed him, and then you'd have had a real problem.
Well, the thing is what they'd have had a real problem was if they'd have taken the air conditioning unit out, because Sean Ryan would have murdered them.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have needed a PBA fine. Sean would have thrown them up on the roof to fix it.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was a Titleist, you're saying?
Good job, Adam. We'll try and get that. We'll try and get that reality check taken care of as well.
Multi-Titleist.
Thank you.
A multi-Titleist. Over under 40.
Over under 40 titles.
Under 40 years old.
Over. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, Doherty.
Right-handed, left-handed.
Not everybody uses both at some point.
Thumb or no thumb?
He's not answering that.
What's up, G? I can't.
Greg,
I'm done with it.
Now as a former doubles partner, I don't know that this is right. You coming after me like this, But just because you're 7'2" and you could have placed it up there.
Hey,
I did say Ryan had to throw it up there for you.
Hey, here's the deal. He says, well, then it has to be a pretty strong one, or they throw 14. Maybe Bill was getting rid of some of his old 14s.
Nah, it wasn't Bill.
There was no chance it was Bill. He was having a good
no.
No, he can't wait to give them all back to Wolf to say, here, plug these. I don't want
them. Yeah, Wolf's not letting him get rid of anything that might make him money. And Tommy, let's face it, he's too broken. He's not gonna throw it up there.
Yeah, he's
somebody said then it was Hess. He said multi-time.
Ooh.
How does layout typically for a two-hander versus one-hander, excluding lane conditions, ball line, just generally? In general, when you look at the fingers, the pin will be higher on a two-hander's ball than a one-hander's ball, just in general. That's if you do have a look at some videos. Not that it's really going to help Matt, but Storm do like a 2LS thing. The two-handed layout system. If you Google that, it kind of explains.
Yeah, well, first of all, your center of grip is not halfway between your fingers and thumb. It's actually in between the two fingers. So, and most two-handers track a lot of them through the fingers or very, very close to it. So if you pull the pin down below, it makes it just thump them all the time. So a low pin for a two-hander, in my experience so far, is mostly just above the fingers, and everything else kind of goes up from there.
Yeah. I can't drill any ball pin down because it goes right over the fingers.
Yeah, what a one-hander thinks is, or a thumb in player thinks is pin up is actually 4 inches above its center of grip. So relate that to, and that's just an inch above your fingers. So,
yeah.
Nick Smith says, according to Lane Talk, Ogle's Balkin's up 23% since room with Sean. He also now knows everything.
Yeah. That's why.
That's why he knows who threw it on the trailers.
Damn. I don't know what to say.
So anyway, Matt, are we getting any more tournaments this year? Chris is the president of the players committee. But I like
can you let me know what's going on?
Because you probably have better sources.
Jesus.
Oh shit!
He doesn't tell me much at all.
Oh,
this is pretty good. They asked Sean Lavery if he did it. He said, "It was him. I nutted it." Chris, you're on with Ryan, correct?
yes, I am.
I think Wes Malot's bowling with his son also, I believe.
Is he really?
Yeah, Norm's his partner Norm. He retired, and mine did the World Series. But he's bowling with AJ Johnson this year. Tommy's bowling with AJ Johnson. All right.
Okay. Hey, Gage. Thanks for being part of the show. Arsenal is Nova Phase 2, IQ Tour, Nuclear Cell, Raw Hammer, and Ice. What do I need to add? 14 pounds, one hand.
So 16 and a half. 14, I assume that's up on the monitor. So that's about add 2.5 to that. Pretty well matched.
I would think that you should consider something a little stronger than the Nova if you're in that range. Maybe a Reality. And then the other ball that I think there's a big gap between the Raw Hammer and the rest of your arsenal. So maybe consider something like a Revenant or a Fate.
Relevant.
Revenant.
Yeah, relevant. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. See, stop being mean. I didn't suggest it today.
Yeah.
And I didn't say it depends.
I do feel like every time I watch this show, you talk about the infinite physics.
I do. Yeah, we like that ball. Well, I just feel like it matches up on pretty much everything. It's kind of like it's not strong and it's not weak. It's kind of like that troublemaker for you. It's like it's not the strongest ball you own, but like if you had to, you could probably use it on almost everything.
It's been a very good middle ball, and it has a long continuation window.
It hasn't really worked that great on the PBA tour since Shawnee. It looked awesome in Shawnee for me, but I think it needs a little more oil in the front part of the lane than we've had.
Yeah, maybe more than we thought. In the theory this year on tour it hasn't been a ton of it in the front, and so
You feel like there's less this year than there was last year?
Oh, way less.
Yeah, and I think we bowled, with the exception of Shawnee and Wichita, the surfaces are pretty experienced.
They're more Chris Barnes than Ryan Barnes. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, and almost by the same amount.
I do think that the lanes have been drier down the lane, so I think that like the guys who can throw it harder maybe don't see it as being as much drier, because like for example last year I feel like there was more oil down the lane, so you had to throw it a little slower because you needed it to hook. So you might have recognized the front part of the lane more because you were throwing it more the speed that the normal like one-handers were throwing it. But now, because the drier down the lane, you guys who can get the speed up can throw it harder because it's almost never going to miss the spot. So I don't know. Why have you not really noticed?
No, I just don't. I just everybody keeps talking about how dry the fronts are, and I I see it now. I didn't a couple years ago. Obviously, that was part of my learning experience, but um, I don't I don't think they're any different. But I don't understand how can it get so much drier over a course of a year? Like what causes that? Less oil in the machine, the pattern. They change the
Well,
pattern. Or,
we've changed lane guy, so there's obviously a learning curve for a new guy because oiling with the PBA guys is something completely different to anything else. Like nowhere in the world is there that much rev rate in one
yeah, I
group
agree.
of guys.
or
So
the or the what would you call it? The preference to throw a lot of surface on top of that, and then that machine is relatively, almost all the most popular, famous lane men have been trained on Kegel machines, and those two, they do much different things, and that's why
Yeah,
somebody asked earlier in the chat about the biggest difference between the national and regional patterns, and that's probably the biggest difference is that the patterns don't translate well because the 39 jets on the Brunswick machine and how it applies oil versus the Wick machine, which lays it down on top of the lane. It's really difficult to translate those two patterns, and basically no one has figured out how to do it
yeah,
super accurately. And so the two patterns, they just play a little softer in general with the Kegel machine than they do with the Brunswick machine,
especially on the left side.
Yeah, I mean, especially it's mostly translation more than anything, I guess,
I
because
just
they're
think
not
that
supposed to be that much different.
nobody it's kind of surprising, but there's no real lane guy who's doing it who grew up using the Brunswick machine.
Well, it didn't exist.
No, I know, but what I'm saying
Yeah.
is it's existed for a long time now.
That's true.
And there's nobody who's like come to the forefront who uses that machine. So they don't necessarily a lot of it is, well, this is what I would do on a Kegel machine. How would I do that on a Brunswick machine? And that's never it's like me and Dom talking about balls and like what we're seeing. Like
Yeah.
Dom doesn't have the options I have and vice versa. So like Dom telling me, hey, just hook the pitch black. That's not the same as him just hooking the purple hammer. Like it's a little closer now, but like when he had the one that looked like he could take 3 off the left, like I could never do that with a pitch black. Like, so, and like, it's the same with the balls. It's like you have some balls that roll in a certain way. Well, you're just not going to attack it. You're not going to go, oh, I just need to take a solid ball and shine it. That's just not the way it works, like from one brand to the other. So, sure. Dom's just like, well, it's real cute that you're just taking those realities and shining them, but I don't have that option. Like, it's just different. That's all.
Yeah.
Matt and Mango. Interesting name. Thank you, Chris. After watching the Eternity Ball drill video, I drilled one and it fit perfectly in my arsenal. Love the content you both provide. Well, thanks very much. And you had me very worried when you said thank you, because I was wondering if this was going to be a kick in the teeth at the end. After watching you have the Eternity, I got one, and it absolutely does nothing close to what you made it do on that video. That's what I was waiting for, and I was like, oh,
that would have been perfect after what we just talked about too with you and Don.
Speaking of, there's a new duo video up.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 of them today. Yep. I'm going to put mine up about 1:00. Chris has got his. We'll talk about it just briefly. Let's just. Okay, Ace frankly says, "Hi Matt, and congratulations. Love you both, Stu and Chris. Just started my arsenal with a gem and an exotic gem. Okay, pretty strong start. What's my next target ball? I'm 14, lower rev, and conscious of keeping it under 16. Then you're going to need something that's a bit weaker than those. They're both pretty aggressive balls. If you really like the exotic gem, the duo might be an option because it's got the same cover. But I would lean towards something that gives you something symmetrical for sure. And if you're going to continue to get more balls, then I think a phase 2 is always a good option, but probably not as your next one. I would look to something a little weaker, maybe the Revenant. to be a decent step down from those, and then you can fill in as you go. But they're two pretty aggressive balls right now.
Yep.
Somebody who watches the show a lot. It depends. Infinite Physics with Light 2000.
I can't wait to see you.
Mini golf and whiffing the 3-6-10. Yeesh, that one was right between the teeth.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, he's only fitting in with the show, Chris.
It's fair. That's fair.
When's the last time you played
mini golf?
Yeah.
I played with my kids a while back, but
Chris made money in
Coldwater.
Coldwater.
We doubled up in the doubles.
Yeah, I made the putt in the roll off. They had the phones out holding it, and it was the one hole that I was any good on. And I go, I got you, Chris. I did the Norm Duke thing. Chris went to go, and I pushed him in the chest. I'm like,
I got this.
It drained it for one. Nothing but cup. Adam says, if I was to make it, I'd try an Infinite Physics. Yeah, let's go, Adam. When, not if, when. Matt, is DV8 the most of Brunswick brands you bowl with, or do you just use a lot?
Yeah, I use all the brands, all 7 brands. There's not. I've got a couple favorites, but I mostly use. I use them all. I don't favor one brand or the other.
So what's your favorite products at the minute?
Well, obviously the Troublemaker, Defender Hybrid I just won with, so I drilled a new one of those. But
it's right behind your left shoulder, isn't it?
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah. Yep.
That's your right shoulder, but okay.
Yeah, it is. You're right. So there. No, I mean, like I said, I don't have certain ones that I feel like I have to use.
Yeah, all I was really asking is like people have been around. What have been the ones you've been using this season? I've seen you use that. You've used the Purple Hammer, obviously.
Yeah, I feel like I have to use that with that tool that I have in the bag. I got to use it. I'm not a big guy I don't like the big balls thrown to the right. That's not my style. My misses are usually left, and when you miss left on a short pattern with a big ball, you're getting 1 or 3, or maybe a gutter with a 500 rev rate. So,
well, I know you said you hadn't. Your learning curve is kind of a deal, but that's the thing I see way less of now than before is how often that miss left and the size of that miss left is way smaller than it used to be.
I agree. I agree. So,
yeah. It's nice that you're modest and you just, I practiced a little bit and then I started seeing the lane better, but yeah.
I don't practice. So I don't know.
Oh, don't say that. Nobody wants to hear that.
I'm not being an asshole. I think
yes,
I
you
practiced
are.
A week before the.
Well, it was nice having Matt on the show, and we just.
Oh, well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Hit the pin.
Well, there you go, Adam. We're trying.
Okay.
Glenn.
Thank you.
There you go. He says, congrats, Matt. Great show. Chris, enjoyed your duo video. How does this compare to other symmetrical pearls? Well, you do a little bit of a comparison we both do it with the Ruby. Symmetrical pearl.
I had an older Zen, and I actually meant to do it in the video. I didn't. I felt like this ball was a little bit cleaner than the Zen was, and then therefore also a little bit more off of it at the end. But it's in general, I believe from a early to length standpoint, it's longer than the Zen, longer than the Phase 2, but it's certainly stronger than like the IQs and those type balls.
Yeah, for me, it fits in the same range as the Zen did. I feel like when the Zen first came out, it seemed like it skid a little more. It might just be perception over time. Maybe my rev rate went up. But yeah, I think it's just a step down from a Zen for me. I think they could complement each other quite well. This is definitely more angular than the Zen for me. Okay. I clicked on the wrong one, but you're up, Justin. Real quick. I have a reality check, Eternity, Phase 2, IQ Ruby, Revenant, and a spare ball. Any thoughts? I think you did a really nice job.
Yeah. Unless you're bowling someplace with a lot of oil, that would be the only thing that you don't have is a gem reality ball at the top.
Mm-hmm. But overall, pretty nice transitions down the bag. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, looks good to me.
Bowling my first regional in 14 years. Any thoughts on the Monticelli pattern? I've never even heard of it.
Oh, it's a senior tour pattern, so it's a little bit the old guy patterns have a little more shape to them. You have a lot of balls in kind of similar. The Exotic Gem, Soul, Eternity are all kind of bigger-ish balls. I don't know that Katana Assault and Radical, the Rattler is a more of a low end ball. Is that right, Matt?
Correct. Yeah, the Katana's a big ball.
Okay.
The Rattler is the IQ Tour Venom Shock type.
Yeah.
ball.
Right. So you're kind of missing medium to medium low.
Oh, it's 40 feet, 27 mils of oil, 5-1.
Purple Hammer, sign him up.
Yeah, might be too much hook to the right.
Yeah. It's,
I would think your medium balls are going to be good.
Yeah, and you're probably missing a couple in there, whether it's a duo, Zen, this kind of balls there in the middle.
Not that those may not work, but if you wanted to add a couple, you could.
Yeah, there's a little bit of gap in there.
Yeah,
the Revenant would add some balance to that line as well. So,
yes, Dustin, we both left ours. I mean, I touched the surface on mine, but Chris left it with the factory reactor gloss finish.
Yep, mine was just out of the box. It had one game of League on it, and then I did the video. In the video, I'm kind of hooking it.
Thank you.
More.
Please, the season started in January.
Sorry, Chris. Go ahead. I was plowing snow.
All the excuses.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Despite what I have to pay a lawn company, October to March, there ain't a whole lot going on.
And we're in way warmer climes than old Ogle there.
Yeah. So you're one of those guys that talk about your price of your lawn care.
Yeah. Not everybody likes being bent over by the lawn guy. Oh, 35 weeks. Wow, you're only here 25 of them, though. Huh. Weird.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I do by the week, pay by the month.
Yeah, I'm a pay to play guy.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful the guy turns up.
Yeah, I think you've had issues before, right?
Yeah.
No, I'll be honest. Like we had the mafia doing it around here. There's one group that does every house around here, and he's so expensive. But everybody gets trapped when they first move into the neighborhood with him. So we got out of him, and he was one of those guys as well. You signed a contract, and I'm like, well, that's fine. How many weeks have I got left? And he told me, and I said, well, here's $400. Now go away. So I got rid of him, and I got a new guy. And you'd love this guy, Matt. He started the business just so his sons had something to do because he was sick of giving them like money. So he ran the business with his sons. Now they both got off to college, and he's screwed because he's got this long-term business and he's got a real job.
Yeah. Yeah, my guy, I think, went back home for a little bit and had a hard time getting back.
And he still voted for Trump.
Oh, God.
If he'd have voted for my guy, he'd have had no trouble getting back.
By popular CNN narrative, neither side has voted for that legislation. So
no
how
comment.
you got here is unbelievable to me. So.
I want everybody to just take a chill pill
Just we're having fun.
We're having fun.
Yeah,
We don't give two shits about the politicals.
Neither one of us want to see Trump or Biden in the next 4 years.
Literally, the only way each of those two can win is because of the other person.
Yes, it's the perfect storm of craziness. Was watching a vlog from the USBC Masters match play, and Prather mentioned he threw 180 grit up 8, 10, 12, and it pissed Doherty off. Fair or foul? Absolutely fair. It's match play.
I think Graham did the same thing to Simonelli. Graham Fowl, because he knew that Simonelli couldn't hook him for that particular pattern, and so Graham threw like chalk and urethane and right where he won.
Well, the whole thing is Doherty can out hook Prather if he wants to, so it's not. I mean, he's just great in a hook spot.
Right.
I just want everybody not to get along as well.
Yeah, I don't care. That's fine.
I'd much prefer if we were just like dicks to each other. It'd be much more fun. Like everybody was getting up in their feels about Belmo saying "get out of here." That would have been way better if he was shouting at Jacob and Simonson, "Get out of here! You're next, boy!"
Yeah,
Yelling
I think we need that.
Way closer to his real self too. So you know.
Yeah.
The thing is he's Australian. Do some research on how Australia started. Love you, Belmo. Watch your wallets. It was a penal colony.
It was Alcatraz before Alcatraz.
Yeah. What's good, my boys? Congrats, Matt, on the title, and congrats to Stu.
Thank you.
You've been high in tournaments this year. Then he goes completely the other way. Would a phase 2 at 4K be a good look on high friction pro Anvilane? Educated guess, 100%. Yes, I'd go with yes, because the high friction pro Anvilane is still not that much friction relative, unless it's indie, because indie hooks like no other. So yes, but thanks, Jamal. Appreciate the
thank you, sir.
Chat.
Appreciate it.
So Belmo is actually from the Italian side, so
yeah, actually,
it's all fun and games, and none of this is anything that I haven't said to Belmo many of times,
or would say in the future.
Yeah, exactly. I remember the first time I met Belmo. The Australian contingent came in to the hotel in Thailand, and I yelled at the Americans, "Watch your wallets, boys." To which the Australians all went, "Fuck off." And everybody else was just like, "What is going on?" In England, every now and again, they are referred to as the shackle draggers. The Australians. So just
look who we got. We got a fellow no thumber. Donnie.
EJ's dad dropping the boom was priceless. Yes. and Belmo being all good with it. Like
I didn't even see it.
It's all part of the I mean
it is what it is.
Yeah.
When you'd beat his son like 14 times in a row, I think you're allowed to take out a little of the frustration.
Yeah. It was the thing.
It was the most light-hearted thing ever.
You're allowed to celebrate. That's the whole thing. Oh, you can't flip the bat. Strike me out then.
Right.
Yeah. Love it. Love the whole thing.
Now, conversely, if a pitcher hits the guy with the ball, you got to be able to throw the bat back at him, in my opinion.
I like that.
Fair is fair.
Wham!
You just walk to first base. You just hit me with 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah.
And I got to just suck it up. But if I flip the bat, you're going to be mad.
Yeah.
That's where you draw the line.
Yeah.
Bat flip, really?
Yeah, come on.
We need a bowling equivalent of the bat flip. Maybe it's the slap out in the face.
Boom.
Blur.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be real strikes. I don't know.
See, this is not even funny. I love hearing stories about Stu not liking Belmo. I love Belmo. I bowl with Belmo all the time. Like, I really like Belmo. My point is I could give him a hard time. And he's more than fine with it.
And he gives it back too.
Yeah, Belmo's got plenty of The whole,
I remember
what everybody sees on TV is a lot different for pretty much everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Holding the
cry all the
PBA
time when I
league with
bowl.
him is pretty entertaining on the seeding day. Seeding day, Belmo is all about talking smack at everybody. He kind of upset Rash a little bit the one time when he was saying, "Oh, we can still win this one, and we're down by miles." And he goes, as Rash gets up, he goes, "Oh, he's screwed it up from this point many a time."
Damn.
Oh yeah, no days off.
Yeah, and those two, this be honest, they're not best friends. So,
that was after Belmo double re-racked on me. Got up and doubled.
Michael had another one earlier too. He's been coming in pretty hot today.
He's British also.
Yeah, well, we overlook some things.
I agree.
I like him more just because he stayed where he belonged.
No, he's in Pennsylvania. That was his joke. He goes, "How did they let both of us?"
Another one that got through the cracks. You guys have a code.
See, no days off. He came to the PBA and stole all those titles.
Yeah, that was
So, yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go and do this weird thing, Matt. It's called practice. Where you turn up at the bowling center and you put in your time. Brad Angelos, he'll talk to you. He'll say something about, you just got to earn your spot. Do your time.
Put your time in. Yeah.
Put your time in. That's what he told Timmy. Yeah. You put your time in, Timmy. You'll get that. Timmy,
my practice was that I built a 15-foot retaining wall yesterday, the last 2 days, with 3,500-pound blocks. So I think I'm good for a while.
Real work.
Yeah. Rash wouldn't be okay with any of it. He's the pitcher who complains about the bat flipping. Oh, you couldn't have made it. That's a pretty good analogy. After he flipped the bat. I didn't do that.
We talking about practice.
We are.
They are. They are. Well, I'm not.
We're not talking about the game. So, all right. Well, thanks for showing out, guys.
Yeah, we didn't get to this.
Sure.
We had so much fun with the eyes that we didn't even get to string pins.
So, did you see this, Matt? String pins?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I've never bowled on them, so I can't really give a good observation of it. But I'm not sure how I feel about it not bowling on them anyway.
The one thing I was surprised at from the report was that it said that the strikes were 7% lower on strings than they were on regular pins. I was quite surprised.
That's unfortunate for you one-handers.
Well, no. I think you might have that a little crooked.
That's very fortunate for us one-handers.
Really?
Yeah. Because the harder they are to knock over.
Yeah, but it slows everybody down.
Well, some of us have a smaller pocket to begin with.
I was about to say, some of us don't rely on the head pin hitting the 10 pin, and when the string goes,
that doesn't happen, right?
It doesn't. Now, the one thing, the quick takeaways I got out of that was that they deepened the pit, the minimum distance of the pit, the depth of the pit, and they minimized how long the string is. It has to be at least 54 inches long, which eliminates some of those swinging makes, which was going on. And, maybe not eliminated, minimized. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know, but I assume that was a huge part earlier of it. I've watched Stubble and Calderon's place, and they look like the pins were magnesium.
It's impossible to knock them over at Calderon.
They were.
Oh,
hard.
man.
It's great.
I've seen that version. I've seen the versions where they look like they fall over like a toy game. So I'm not sure.
Wow.
I probably don't understand the way the pin setting works on them, but I would think that half the issues are that the pin setting is too slow on the string pins. because at the World Games, like when they did it, the pins were falling like super late. But if they just go into the situation where like quicker, where it was picking the pins up.
Yeah. You could shorten that time frame as well. I think the string thing, my understanding is that, and we talked about it in the show, that I felt like there was a version there where it wouldn't be crazy different from what we're used to. Not that I love it or like it, but I understand the economics of it. Places that have been around a little longer, like say England is running into a lot of old centers that need to replace machines or to basically even put in a new center. It's just too expensive.
Well, it's also there's just every mechanic's just dying.
Yeah, nobody wants to pay a mechanic either, which is a problem.
That's a fact.
Well, also the people who have those skill sets now are way smaller. There's a way smaller pool of those guys, and they're going to do something where they can make more money with their skills than they are to be a bowling center guy.
Right. Skilled tradesmen are becoming a rarity in everything. So
yeah. So how I haven't read anything about it. How soon do you think the OCs will pick it up?
I don't think it's going to be like that. Like they sanction them, but as a separate, like, so imagine like you have your bowl.com thing and it's like, it'll be like house sport strings. Like it'll have it as its own.
So this
category.
is basically just for like the older houses, like you said, Chris, that are needing to revamp and
do
a little more cost effectively.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it from a competitive standpoint, we're still a ways away, but you know, A2s and A270s, they're 60 years old, they're 70 years old.
Yeah. Right.
And they're not, I mean, as much as they were built to last forever, they're not going to last forever. And they're expensive to move to new locations. And
see, I mean, I'm bowling on twisters.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the same things as your strategy on string pins, same as the strategy on twisters, just has to adapt slightly to what they do. And so it's all bowling. It's not any different than wood to synthetic lanes to Guardian to there's.
I was wondering about that too. Tangles.
I mean,
because I know with the little balls and the little pins, they tangle a lot.
Yeah, I don't think it happens that often. Chris Martin's asking for an autograph picture of us, Chris. We haven't gone to the Vogue photo shoot yet, Chris.
We need to go into one of the photo.
Vogue magazine. So
GQ.
I appreciate it. We'll try and figure something out.
Yeah, like I say, I don't know that I love them yet. I haven't bowled on them enough to love them one way or the other. I obviously have a strong love for the tradition and history of the game, and so I'd like to keep that as long as possible. But it's unrealistic to think that it's not going to evolve. One tangle for every 100 shots.
That's not terrible. No. I mean, that's like a breakdown every 100 shots or a deadwood.
Ball return or whatever.
Yeah.
That's one every 10 games, give or take.
We had what one breakdown every 3 practice sessions.
I wasn't going
every practice session actually. So.
No, John didn't get on the.
Not the
I'm
first
sorry,
day.
fellas. Hold up.
Till day 3, day 4.
Yeah. The thing is like practice is the worst for any center because you've got balls just going rapid fire.
Rapid fire,
Yeah, a lot of balls going down in a hurry. A lot of, that's the most stressful part. And you know, the machines are all slowing down now too to run better and run longer.
Super stressful for the players as well when you haven't got any ball motion. Go! Need another shot. Go!
If you give this guy one lane courtesy again, I'm going to punch you in the back of the head. Go!
Yes, go!
Don't reset. You're shooting that. I'm getting the 4 rack.
There cannot be a worse cross in practice than practicing with Carolyn, because she literally takes the saying of practice like you play real.
Okay, so
20 seconds to throw every shot.
That's not good. So we were in Jackson. You remember when the high school kids were down there practicing? More or less the girls than the guys, and the girls did the 1-step deal for like 15 minutes. So some of the ladies do that on the ladies tour.
Yeah.
Do you? I don't want to get into another subject, but I mean, I feel like that's a waste of time for the first 5 minutes they do that because they're not breaking the lanes down, or if that's what they choose to do, and they're not finding bar reaction really. I just don't get it. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody that started it or whoever does it, but
to quote someone I know, to be fair, I don't know why they do it.
yeah.
I've not done a one-step drill ever in my life. I practiced it 4 times to try and bowl Tony Reyes in the
I knew that was coming.
It's the only time I've ever done it, and I was horrible at it. So I kind of felt like, at least at one point, I was in the small conversation I was pretty good and had never done one. So I didn't really see where it was useful.
Necessary.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people do it, and I'm sure there's something to it. I just actually don't know what it is.
Me neither.
We'll get Verity on one day and we'll ask her because she's obsessed by it.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's...
I feel the same way about following through.
And it's working out okay for you. So, fair point.
So, all right. Did you hear that Santu mentioned me on the show?
No.
That was funny. He threw a shot and it was off his hand so quick. And he goes, man, I followed through less than Stu on that one.
And he doesn't follow through that much anyway.
He goes, it was off my hand quicker than it's off Stu's hand.
You, funny. Brian Boss, and Sam too. All right. There you go. Matt, thanks for joining us. Anybody you'd like to thank here, please feel free.
I appreciate the offer. I appreciate, Brunswick, Deviate, all my sponsors, Ray's, Brandon Corporation, Turbo, Cool Wick, all my local sponsors. I appreciate you guys having me on. I had a great time. Hopefully we can do it again. Next title I win.
Well, there you go.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. I'm going to head up to Shawnee and watch the kid bowl a little bit before Stu and I go to New Jersey on Saturday evening. Get a look at see just how much devastation happened with the tornado that went through Shawnee. Saw some pictures. It's not good.
How long's a piece of string? Depends where you cut it.
Next week. There you go. All right.
TV 300. I just saw that. I don't know why I just saw that.
He didn't win though.
I know it. I wasn't going to say it.
But I won more money than you did.
Not for that week.
I won it for that day. I did that like 30 minutes ago.
I didn't.
Safe travels out there. I assume you're going to players.
I am. I'll be there.
Making more free money. So until next time, I don't know when we're going to be able to do stuff because the schedules are pretty busy the next couple weeks. So
it could be quite empty quite quickly at the players, though. There's a lot of cuts.
Yeah,
there are a lot of cuts. We could have shows on Thursday or not. I'm not sure how it's going to play out. So we'll get with you when we can. Check out those videos on YouTube. Both of us have a duo video coming out soon.
Yours is up.
The cool part is 5% of domestic sales do go to Big Brothers Big Sisters, a great charity that one of our significant others has been involved with over time. So in any event, until next time, please support the sponsors that support us. Storm, Rotogrip, Banter Global, Cool Wick, Bowlers Mart, Fire Lake Bowling Center, Lightning Strikes, and Platinum 4. Till next time, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.
See you later, guys. Thank you.
See ya.